Hi, how are you doing today? We're doing a very exciting video because ZAYN's back. Yes, it's been a little bit since his last album, but we're back in business, baby, with Room Under the Stairs, his fourth studio album. I'm actually very excited to listen to this one because based on the singles that we've gotten, What I Am and Alienated, it does sound like this album is going to be a very different sound for ZAYN than his other albums. And even though I've thought the other albums were absolutely incredible, they just like weren't necessarily my favorite type of music. So I am very excited to listen to this album, see the new direction he's going in, and hopefully love it. We have 15 songs to listen to, so quite a bit, 49 minutes, so it's gonna be a while. So let's just get started with Dreamin. So I am not the biggest fan of the song. It's not a bad song, but it didn't immediately like leave that big of an impression on me. I did really like the guitars, and of course ZAYN's vocals are wild. I did also like the lyrics of it. It's just something about it just didn't really hit me, if that makes sense. So I don't know. I feel like an opener to an album needs to be a banger, and I feel like this one wasn't a banger, but hopefully the rest of the album will be. Next up is What I Am, which was the first single released for this album, so we already know it and we already love it. If I told you I love you, would you say that it's fucked up? If I told you to fly me, would you say that you love her? Don't take me for what I'm saying, just take me for what I am, 'cause this is where I'm staying, my two feeling the same. What I Am is such a gorgeous song. It's very vulnerable with great lyrics, and I honestly love it. So it makes up the disappointment for that first song because it's so good. I'm sorry. I also put my hair up. I am sorry, but it was getting a bit warm in here. Next up is Grateful. Such a sweet song. I really love the lyrics of that. It just, I don't know. I don't have a lot to say, but I just thought it was really sweet. Love the lyrics. Think the vocals are amazing, but that's to be expected with ZAYN. And I just, such a great song. Next we have Alienated, another single we already know, we already love. Yeah. I love Alienated so much. It's a very recent release. I haven't gotten around to listening to it very much, but I do think it's a very gorgeous song, and it's so vulnerable, and the lyrics are just, I don't know, I love him so much, like the different metaphors and everything within it, and it's a really good song, you know. Next up we have My Woman. I just loved the vibe of this one. I don't know, really liked it. It had like this, to me, kind of give me the feeling of like telling a story around a campfire for some reason. And it just, I don't know, I loved it. It transported me away into this world, and so great. So next up we have How It Feels. Did I let go of this morning? Something holding me to this place. I've been breaking, always faking. I'm just lying to your face, and I can tell you how it feels. That left me a bit speechless. That's such a beautiful song, so vulnerable and so emotional, and kind of like, I don't know, it just hits It does. And I don't know what else to say about it because it's left my brain just kind of empty except for the song just playing it. It just, I don't know, it's also like production wise very simple, and it makes just kind of like the impact of like the lyrics that much harder, and I just yeah. Let's move on to Stardust, which brings us to the halfway mark of the album, and is also a single that was released alongside the album. So I haven't heard it yet because of course I'm listening to the album right now, but you can watch a music video for it if you want. I really like that song as well. It's felt very sweet. ZAYN has got this song as being like the injection of love into the album, and it definitely radiates all of the lovely feelings. It's very sweet, very just nice. I've kept like swaying to it because that's just the way it felt, and it's a gorgeous song. That's all I have to say. Again, next up we have Gates of Hell, which sounds a bit intimidating. Oh, I love that. I don't know what I was expecting. Like with the title, like Gates of Hell, I was expecting something like maybe a bit darker, but there's a little bit like really funny. I laughed a couple of times at the lyrics. I just think they were very like tongue in cheek and fun. It's definitely like a fuck you song, which we can appreciate in this household. And I don't know. I loved it. Next up is Birds on a Cloud. So something about this song is like the melody's like very happy, very fun, but then the lyrics are kind of sad. Like he's literally begging, "Give me one more day of happiness" in the chorus, and then you have like this very upbeat like guitar on it. I don't know. I like the juxtaposition. I really like how that's done. It's one of my favorite tropes in music, like extremely sad lyrics over extremely happy vibes. I think that's just such a fun way to tell a story, and I feel like it definitely worked really well within this song and this like teammate of it, and I really liked it. So then, next we have Concrete Kisses. That was another gorgeous, very vulnerable song. It's not one that necessarily left like the biggest impact on me compared to like some of the other songs, but I did again really like it. So then next up we have False Starts. Interesting fact, this is so far the only song that is not written by ZAYN or co-written by ZAYN. Most of the songs on the album have been solely written by ZAYN. It's one or two exceptions, but this one has not him not on the credits of it, so I think that's very interesting. But I do really like the song, I really like the vibe of it. Kind of immediately when it started, I was like, okay, I really like it. I love the vocals on it, especially in the chorus. I don't know, works really well. A big fan. Next up we have The Time. Oh, it's a very kind of like bittersweet song in a way, and very just, I don't know, lovely as well, and vulnerable and nice, and I just loved it yet again. Next up we have Something in the Water. another one that didn't really do that much for me. I'm so sorry. It's again not a bad song, but I don't know, it didn't click for me yet, sadly enough. But then we have arrived to our second to last song, which means we're almost at the end, sadly enough, with Shoot at Will. Another absolutely gorgeous emotional song. It's a middle and shorter side, but I think it really works for the song. And I don't know, I loved it. Again, yes, we're back on track. Every time I feel like I have a song that I don't like, I get a bit like disappointed, and then after that is a song I really like. I'm like, yay, we're back on track. Even though I literally just like one song I didn't like. Anyway, last track of the album, Fuchsia Sea. So Fuchsia Sea, I think, was a great conclusion to the album. It had like themes of kind of like moving on a little bit that I really liked. I just like the sound of it as well. It's not, again, one of my favorites of the album, but I did really like it. And yeah, that brings us to the end of Room Under the Stairs. Let me pick my top 3. There's a lot of songs though, so it's gonna be a bit of a choice. I think my number 1 spot goes to How It Feels. That was a beautiful song. On number 2, I'm gonna put Alienated because I just also still love that. And 3 is gonna be My Woman, I think. But I also really like Stardust, so that's like an honorary member. But that's definitely my top 3. I think I might go back on that as well, listen to this album more, but you know, I have to pick something to begin with. And yeah, let me know in the comments what your top 3 is. I always love to know that. But let's first just talk about some of my thoughts on this album. I liked it. I do think it's a bit long, which I mean is nothing against 15-song albums. I definitely have albums that are even longer than that I liked, but I just feel like there are some songs that could have been cut from this album. Sorry Not Sorry. As you can tell, there was definitely like some songs throughout here that I don't know, it didn't really do anything with me, and I feel like they could have been cut really. And I definitely felt the length of it as I was listening to it. Again, not like the longest album I've ever listened to, so it's not necessarily like inherently a bad thing to this to be long, but like, you know, sometimes you just have an album and you just like feel the length of it, even if it is like on the shorter side. Just kind of like, I don't know, a tad long. But I do really like the new direction things going on with his music. I like the lyrics throughout this. His voice, of course, is still phenomenal, but I don't need to tell you that. That's a well-known fact. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the album. Also, leave your top 3 behind. I always love seeing that. I already mentioned that though. So yeah, I guess I'll just see you guys next time.
Here I am again, the same old situation. Why does the God thing have to be so complicated?